Here we are, Ronnie, semi-final time. The winner going through to play the Glenorchy Spartans. They've been dominant all year, undefeated. They got the win last week as well. Southern Wolves coming very, very close. Saw some athletic ventures there. Our matchup here tonight, the Southern Wolves, as you can see, taking on the Kings. And the Kings have been very backwards and forwards all year, being able to be competitive at times with the top team, sometimes looking a little low. Meanwhile, dominating the lower two teams in Hobart and Clarence. So this is going to be a massive test to see where they're at. And as we mentioned, the winner going through to the undefeated Spartans, who you'd have to say would be almost unbackable favourites heading into next week, no matter who they play.
Yeah, absolutely, JB. I mean, Glenorchy have shown why they've been the premier team in this competition all year, and certainly going to be an exciting matchup tonight here, JB, with a lot on the line.
Callum Boucher winning the tip there to Jacob Richards, and he's just going to go down, wants to draw contact, doesn't get it. Good start there. The big question here for me, Ronald, is what happens if the Wolves get through. I mean, there's a lot of questions around GYC graduation, as we mentioned in our previous game there. If you want to check that out, as we mentioned, Hobart getting over the line eventually against the Kings there with Shana Thompson's dominance. But, I mean, what sort of Southern Wolves lineup are we going to be looking at next week in comparison to this is going to be a big question. And I might bring into question just a little bit, Ronnie, as Isaac Collins takes that. I'm not saying they're going to try and tank a game. I mean, they've hit the first two shots, but is it almost beneficial if they're not going to have the numbers and can't renegotiate the game, them actually not winning this one?
It's a tough one, isn't it? You have to understand that your school graduation must come first and foremost. I think that's an important part of a young person's life when they graduate from Year 12. So really, that's got to be at the forefront of those players. But tonight, it obviously takes a back step. But if they do get up, then I think there's going to have to be some questions asked during the week on what will happen in that area.
This Kingston team awfully streaky on the year. Haven't opened up their account yet in this game. Big bonus of rotations. Cal Boucher for 3, no good. Jacob Richards, the Australian 3x3 rep, fighting under the boards again. Wanted more. Good rumours floating around him heading into next season. But
rumour mill very strong, JB, at this point in time for NBL 1 in 2020.
Very, very strong rumour mill for NBL 1, for local players. You name it, it's there. I mean, what do you think this King side has to do, though, Ronald? I mean, they've been streaky, inconsistent, however you want to term it. I mean, Noah Stratzmer, as you can see there, he's been playing that stretch 4 all year at senior level as well. You've got an Elijah Pawson, who's a great shooter when he's on. I mean, you get someone like a Jordan Walker who provides a bit of a spark off the bench as well. It looks like Hamish is out of the way. Bridget's taking away our commentary team. See you later, Hamish. See you, Bridget. We'll be over for beers later. And Jackson Collins coming around here giving me a look. But, I mean, how do you combat that as a team, Ronald? I mean, if they've had it on-off all season, the last thing you sort of want to do is to pray that this is an on-off sort of game for you when it's do or die.
Well, I think for Kingston, they need to play within their offense, try not to allow anything too loose, and get this guy involved that just shot the ball down, Elijah Pawson. You got to really try to make sure he gets on a bit of a hot streak tonight. Same thing with Noah Strathmore too. He's proven to be a good player all year. He's just been inconsistent with his shooting game, and I think that's one thing Noah has to keep working on, especially if he's going to be making that squad for NBL 1 next year with the Chargers. So it's really important that he keeps working on that shooting part of his game, because he brings in good energy and brings that spark, what you need, but he just needs to work on that shooting form.
Thought you were getting very emotional at his game, Ronald. I knew he was a young prospect in the area. I didn't realise you were so emotional about it, but you were just yawning and choking and coughing at the same time. So,
I like Noah. He's a great kid, and he's got potential. He like some of these younger ones that are coming through at the moment, which we're really keeping an eye on, JB. We want to see them improve, and we want to see them get a gig next year with that Chargers team.
Luke Sward, that's a guy who's really grown his game the last 12 months. Richards with a putback 2 or 3 times. Offensive rebound gets the score there. But someone like a Luke Sward who's really grown with his character on the court as much of his game, Ronald. I mean, haven't seen him in the former under-23s comp. He could be a little reckless. He could be very emotional at times towards other players, coaches and officials. But he seems to really levelled off amongst this Southern Wolves squad this year, Ronnie, and he's been a very valuable cog in their machine.
Yeah, he's certainly matured and improved throughout the last couple of years. It's been great to see, actually, as one of his former coaches. So, as Hardog there near gets that one to go, but Luke just got to keep chipping away at his game, and no doubt he'll be kind of a vital local player at local level for any team that he's involved in.
Cow Boucher just getting that one knocked out of his hands as the Kings stripped that one away. That was too easy. Stripped it right near the basket. Offensive rebound of the Wolves. Fade away there on the block. Missed. Stratzma there with a rebound. And he is off and running, heading towards the hoop. Collins contesting that one there. Gets that one up and under. And the Kings slowly getting into a bit of a groove here, Ronnie.
Yeah, they're just working their way in after a bit of a nervy start. So look for them to hopefully settle. But then I wouldn't be surprised if, that's a good shot there by Chris Oldham, but wouldn't be surprised if the Wolves really, try to push this and get this out to double digits quick.
As we can see, semi-final time here. The Kingborough Kings taking on Southern Wolves. Winner taking on the Spartans. And strong rumours that there's not going to be much of a Wolves lineup next week unless something can be rearranged there with the Spartans. We'll try and find that out more in relation to the GYC graduation. Meanwhile, Wolves on the drive. Go baseline. He's stepped out of bounds. And that is going to be a Kings ball. No basket there.
And I also noticed too, no Lockie Boucher tonight for the Southern Wolves team as well, JB.
I did notice that. I noticed Tyson Joseph back on the bench. Hadn't seen him for a couple of weeks. He's down there from the father-son-in-law combination there of Brad Simmons and Matty Young. And it's going to be interesting to see what sort of rotations they run with. He's just checking into the game now, but they're going to rely a lot on a Jacob Richards and Isaac Collins and a Callum Boucher to really run this offense tonight, Ronnie. And I just wonder whether they can hold up with limited minutes for, in comparison to the size and the depth of Kingston. Yeah. Stratzma wanted the contact. But it's going to be interesting to see as Boucher kicks that over. And it bumped out of bounds there. The Wolves getting that one up and under. Wanted a foul. Jacob Richards with his hands in the air like he just doesn't care. So that one's nice up and under there from the Kings. And that one's going to be a warning there. Thomas Ho is not putting up with that. Substitutions, and that's good. That's good control there. To just let the players know, particularly in the semi, we're not going to have it. We're not going to have you taken over us, and just to have that control there.
Yeah, and it's important too. I mean, with the boys, there is some egos on both sides here. So the referee's got to make sure they control some of these guys tonight, not let it get too out of hand.
Jacob Richards working his way inside there, gets covered on the double. That was a foul. And probably a bit of mental strength there from Jacob Richards too, just to sort of play a little bit with the referees here or there.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is always going to be a tactic from players and coaches to work referees over and try to get calls your way because, as we've noticed around the league and anywhere else, it's a very common thing. So it doesn't surprise me that's going to happen tonight. And with a long line, you're going to do everything in your power to try to get your way.
13-8, our starting scoreline. Almost 6 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Noah Pawson, Elijah Pawson blocked. Callum Boucher says, get that stuff out of here. He's had, I thought it was a shuffle there. Blocked from behind though. Referee's letting the boys play. And Callum Boucher has been up with his own highlight reel. His mother and his father getting some good courtside footage of the boys when we haven't been about. A lot of athleticism and blocks there. And you wouldn't see to see Lockie and Cow, they have that relaxed, laid-back appearance, but they get on the basketball court and those boys can move.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen that firsthand, as you well know, JB. They're a different species out there.
It's Richards getting the inbounds pass there. Tyson Joseph with the ball. 15-10 our scoreline. The Kings just getting a hand to that one. I mean, just quickly, we haven't really gotten to the tactics of this one so far, Ronnie, as we sort of just managed to dribble our way on. I mean, how, as a Kings team, are you going to use your rotations here? You're going against an elite group of players here, as Isaac Collins knocks that one in for fun. But, I mean, you're going against an elite group of players here for the Wolves. How do you utilise that young bench and just provide that spark to help the guys like an Elijah Pawson and an Noah Stratton?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what number rotation Coach Bain Shepherd goes with. Does he go with an 8-man rotation, 9-man rotation? I mean, they've got 2, 4, 5 on the bench, and Probably the unlikely one out there will be Jordan Walker not getting as many minutes as probably what he should deserve. But it will be interesting to see what rotations Coach Shepherd does tonight.
Foul there on the drive. But in the other side there's only one there for Brad Simmons to really work with on that side of the floor there too, Ronnie. But so, I mean, how do you utilise that? I mean, such elite top level and pretty good support under it as well. But, I mean, legs are legs. The lactic acid builds up at some point.
It does, but I'm sure Coach Brad Simmons will understand that he's got a pretty fit crew with him, and he'll look to just probably rotate every so often, and maybe in that second quarter or early third quarter you might see a few more subs being thrown in, maybe. But the more time you have on the playing court as a five, sometimes the better when we get late into a game. So it could work wonders for Coach Simmons. Good
defence there from the Kings, who are really pushing up to try and force the issue. Wasn't enough though as the Wolves skip past through there. 18-14 our scoreline. It's been a really quick opening quarter, Ronnie. 2:41 to go, and things certainly have quietened down by comparison to when the girls were on the floor.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a difference, isn't it? It's like at the moment, it's like the girls made a lot of noise, where the boys kind of just sit there and not as much. So I mean, hell, if we had a team from Melbourne, Dan, you'd hear them non-stop. So there's a bit of a difference there, and I think that culture needs to come within. And I think that's something that some male teams down here really need to learn.
So just me, or can you smell bolognese, Ronnie?
Probably just you at the moment, JB.
Okay, that's a concern. Some sort of health. There's some sort of health error going on there. It's contestable there.
Fair to say my nose is a little bit clogged up. I'm fine, to be quite honest with you, but I think nose is a bit clogged up. But there could be bolognese being cooked in the canteen.
I tell you what, I am going to have to investigate that quickly at quarter time. Man is not afraid of carbs and pasta. It was not built in the gym. It's Noel Stratsma inside. Again, played the stretch four, Ronnie, and he makes that. What kind of dexterity does that create for someone like a Noah, who at that NBL 1 level and at a more senior level, Ronnie, can play that 2 and that 3 spot, to be able to get down low? As Tyson Joseph gets a contact, good finish there, great drive. I mean, what sort of dexterity, and how much does that add to someone like Noah's game, to be able to play down low but know that he can still retreat out and have an effect on the perimeter?
I think it's a good thing. I think with Noah, he's just got to understand that he's got to keep working very hard on his game. If he can find that low area is fine. It's more stretching out to that 3 ball and being a bit more consistent, as I said. So for him, it's more about just working on that side of his game. It's good that he's versatile and he can prove that, hey, I can be a good inside-outside kind of type of guy. Just needs a little bit more muscle on him. I know he's been working hard in the gym along with some of the other Chargers boys too, who have hit the gym since they've heard the word that the Chargers are back. So if he can bulk up a little bit, that will help him immensely.
Tell you what, if there's bolognese out there, I might go get him an extra plate. He can smash some of that down while doing a bench press. As they say in the classics, your back can never be too big. That's a lovely drive down the floor there by the Kings, forcing their offence. Gets a Pawson open. Can't make that. I tell you what, Schwarters just said, get out of my way. And again, he's still got that grit and that hustle, even with a bit of a changed personality. And sometimes you just can't value that on the court, Ronnie. Just to have a guy out there who, not the most fundamentally or skilled player, but has the ability to, Richards goes inside and gets the hand one, but to have that impact to come on and just do the little things.
Yeah, you just want that blue collar hard type worker, don't you? We talk about Cam Brown probably being one of those types of players, and you
Alex Finlayson in the women's as well.
Yeah, Alex as well. Yeah, I agree with that. And those are the kind of 1% players you need on your team that are going to do those little things that really help make the core of your team.
Of course, the third quarter of the Chargers Siebel Championship 2018, BJ Radcliffe not scoring a point but setting the picks, taking the charges and getting the rebounds. Those little 1%ers that just really help a team. Jordan Walker has come on to provide that spark. And there he is there, great finish. And this is a kid, Ronnie, 17 years old. Jordan's been playing some solid reserve basketball, a few senior minutes during the year. But when he's got his time to shine here as Cow Boucher around the rim on that one. When he's had his time to shine here in this under-22s league, he's made the most of it and had an impact.
Yeah, we've seen, haven't we, JB? I just think he deserves more minutes, really, in a team in a Kingston team that is in some ways stacked in his position. So tough for him as kind of that backup.
That combo guard, that one or two.
Yeah, does make it tough on him. I mean, I've heard some rumours already that he's on the move next year and going to northern part of the state. So if he does go, that's a bit of a loss for Kingston in some ways, because I think if he sticks with it down here and gets through some of that off-court stuff, then I think he'll be fine.
Well, Jordan, a key development player so far for the Kings, as they now have possession of the ball inside the last 24 seconds of this quarter. He's going to look to make a move. Gets inside, splits the D. Couldn't get a roll there. Good intent. Ball kicked out. That one there heavily contested on the low block. Can't get the back. Pawson fighting for the boards off Collins. Nearly walks. Saves that one away. That one's dropped down to Sward. Look out! Good finish there. Thought the D was creeping on him. 1 second to go. And that one's going to count. Tell you what, unconventional, but makes the most of it. I can smell bolognese. I'm going to have a quick check here in the last minute. 27-18 at quarter time. Well, Ronnie, the bad news is it is not bolognese.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I will probably be stopping in for a $7.95 pizza at Domino's. On the good news is, though, we still have basketball going and we are inside a single-digit margin. The Kings down at the moment to the Southern Wolves, 27-18, and just some slight frustrations there from the Southern Wolves so far. And, a couple of sparks off the bench there, the Kings to get it going. If you're the Kings squad, though, what have you wanted to look at the quarter time break?
I could hear Coach Bain Shepherd just saying that they need to stick with their man. Obviously, they've changed up their defence a little bit here, but really, he's really emphasising the defensive end. So really, we have
a special
really
commentator.
Important. Oh, thank you very much, Erica.
Unbelievable. Thank you to Erica Walker, who is dominating in the clearances right there. Shout out to Courtney on the other side of the floor. Wasn't there to help us this week. That's a Mars every day helps you work, rest and play. Don't know what 2 does, Ronnie, but we'll see how we work with it. As the Wolves now back, as you were saying there, Bain Shepherd barking some instruction to the boys. Yeah,
he certainly was, just emphasising them more on the defensive end than anything else. I think that, geez, not much you can do there. Hardock had a hand in Boucher's face and Boucher just goes bang. So Coach Simmons really emphasising to keep up the good work. They're really, again, being aggressive on their offensive end, which they need to do, and just get a more of a presence defensively here. He probably just wasn't happy giving up the amount of points that he'd like to give up on that quarter.
Need to be more accountable there in their passing. There's shout out to Erica Walker, who has delivered us another Mars bar.
That might save us dinner.
I tell you what, it'll go closer on here. Keep the calorie count high on the year. We'll keep that in mind. So that pass there to Joseph. The Wolves kicking that round. There's the Australian 3x3 rep in Jacob Richards. As we said, a lot of stuff flying around him over the coming weeks, and we'll see what comes of that. Taken away here by Sward. He's going to go up inside. Ball! Get out! Good Lord! No look pass, and he's going to execute on the other end.
Started to play and finished to play.
My God!
Just excuse me for a moment, JB.
No, that's all right. Ronnie's going to bail out. JB's going to be sticking with it. It was solo conversation. Ronnie's on the phone. Contract negotiations. Oh, yep, we got negotiations. Ronnie's got outlying contracts he needs to fix. Meanwhile, there the Wolves want to pull up in the mid-range. I don't know whether to do it. Stratzman now with the ball guarded by Richards. He's looking to move around the perimeter. And he fakes the give-off, goes inside, gets the defender in the air, and he's stripped there. One of the foul didn't get it. Richards on the drive here. Goes up, good drive, uses contact, and that's good. Round the rim 800,000 times. He still gets it to fall. And this one's extending out now. 31-20. 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half here. Slowed down or to add that one. Pawson started this quarter with a massive jamming block against the backboard. And nonetheless, we'll see how this one's going to play out here. That'll be Wolves on the baseline. And again, we're inside an hour here on our camera, so we'll see what goes on. This one could be very, very interesting. We'll see guys here from the Wolves, who are looking to extend their lead out now. They're out by 11. They're going to want to be 20 at half time to call this all over Red Rover. Tyson Joseph lets fly, misses. Kings wanting the rebound. There's scrappy affair on that one. And they're heading up and down the floor. Need to get some work done off the glass. Can't do that. Isaac Collins with the rebound. He's had an interesting start to this game. Kicks over to Spord. Kicks to Joseph. That one didn't work. Found Richards now in the post. Squares up. Wants to back down. Can't do it. Kicks to Joseph in the corner for 3. Missed it. And rebound there by the Kings. They're going to try and clear this one out. They're going to need to get a basket on the board here soon. Stratsma to solve that problem. Creates more havoc than he needs to. Second chance bucket floating. Has missed that one as well. And that looks like a Nash. As that ball just gets tossed out of the way. And that one's just going to be a warning for throwing the ball there. Fair call. Substitution there as a Nash has checked in with his Leroy Jetta Angus Momfries type operations going on there in the shoe department. Meanwhile, Strathmore at the line. He's made the first. Marsbar sponsor, thank you very much to Erica Walker on that one. Great help there. Strathmore misses the second. Collins with the rebound. 31-21. So we're at 10 points now. Our margin. Collins up the outside. Ronnie's contract negotiations are through. You're back on board with us here, Riggs?
Yeah, back on board, JB. Yeah, sorry.
Everything positive?
Yeah, everything's sorted, JB. No worries there.
I tell you what,
Richards goes for 3.
Yeah.
Noah Strasburg very lucky not to get a technical foul on that because if that's me, that's a straight up tee.
Too late. Ronnie is taking absolutely no prisoners of war on that one, but yeah, very lucky to get away with it. And that would be a young Nash having checked out into the game there too, Ronald.
Yeah, Caleb Nash in obviously for the first time in the game, and again with those very fluorescent shoes.
A lot of Angus Momfries, Leroy Jetta, David Zaharakis, late 2000s Bombers.
Oh, my word. Again, how his dad, Mark,
Must
allows
feel.
it. Yes, my word.
Yeah, no, if you don't know which one he is, ladies and gentlemen, just you've that glowing red from the corner of your screen should stick
Oh,
out.
and on cue.
Hey, he got it past to the shoes. I mean, he got distracted in the light. I can't blame the man. Timeout
No.
there by the Kings as Ronnie gets the timeout right after he's gotten off the phone.
Yeah, oh, jeez.
No help on that one, but
No.
But what do you? I mean, their opponents heading into next week, Ronald, are going to be the Spartans. The Spartans essentially have played their senior one men's side, who have been key rotations, throughout the year. They've played them in this competition. I mean, how do you, either side here? Yeah, they've got a couple of senior players. I mean, your Isaac Collins, your Jacob Richards. They're your seniors for the Wolves, having played some Premier League minutes. Meanwhile, your Stratsmers and your Pawsons, they're your Premier League players, and the Kings. How do you go against a side who's starting a team that could potentially start the Premier League?
It's a scary thought, isn't it?
Very.
Not
one. Let's just say I don't think you wake up in the morning and look forward to it.
No. For geez, I mean, I've seen that that Glenorchy team just play throughout the years, that young squad, and you keep adding on to it. With under 22s happening, you're just adding on a couple more extra veterans for that age group, and no doubt, if they go ahead with it next Wednesday, geez, I mean, you can only imagine, couldn't you? So I'll be interested to see if the league does take any action in regards to a reschedule, or do you just go with just when we schedule it, this is how it's going to play out.
Well, I think the big part of that too, though, Ronnie, is they're going to need to get it done at some point next week. The following weekend, of course, is the grand final of the Northwest Coast. I do believe, it won't be not next weekend, the weekend after. Now, again, there's going to be their grand final in the Northwest. Flash Gordon in his shoes just drops that one. But there is going to need to be some sort of schedule go on, whether that's on the Tuesday or the Thursday, where they play it's the other question. Do they want to keep the venue? Do they want to drag us down there to get it covered? I mean, there's a lot of things to worry about that, and again, this is where the priority comes with, school is a priority at this age, particularly with no money floating around. I mean, there's a lot of factors to take into account.
Well, again, I'll stress the point, and obviously being a coach at at a school, we really emphasise that school must come first. And, for these guys that are graduating next week, it's really important that they do attend that ceremony. I mean, you only get it once. So 3 goes on the foul. And Callum Boucher just has some advice as well too there. But anyway, just very quickly coming back to what I was mentioning, that it is important for some of these, guys to really, go to that ceremony because, you only get it once. You won't get it again, especially at Year 12 level.
Yeah, there's no replay.
No, it's certainly
bring
not.
my mic back. There's no replay.
No, it's not. And that graduation ceremony is held out at the deck. So, I mean, there's no other better way of graduating from GYC than the deck.
Well, not only that, Ronnie, I mean, it's probably the grandest graduation anywhere in the state. I mean, I'm assuming there's probably a couple of schools in the northeast of the state that use Launceston, the Burnie Arts and Function Centre and a couple other places alike in the Devonport and the Burnie area. But as far as the grand scale and the pageantry of a school graduation, the GYC graduation is probably the biggest one on the in the Tasmanian curriculum, really.
Oh, absolutely. And being involved in 2 of those ceremonies.
You graduated twice?
So the first one I attended was to accept student leadership at GYC for Year 12, and then, of course, Year 12 was my graduation. One as Shepherd knocks down the mid-range J.
So you got the red carpet treatment?
Yeah, I mean, it's massive. I mean, it's such an important time in your life. So really, there's more to life than basketball. Put it that way. Unless you are, as Richardson knocks down the 3, unless you are earning whatever it is you're earning in the NBA or wherever else, then I think, you have to put your school life first.
Yes, I had a red carpet graduation for myself, but that was only into the pub, and then we rolled around the corner to a mate's place and kicked on. Didn't really get much more than that, Ronnie, let's be honest.
There you go.
Probably more priorities down in Queenstown than finishing school. But it should be a high priority. Whether it is another question. Meantime, Schwart on the drive as the crowd is filing out here from the women's game.
Yeah, it's starting
mass
to thin
exodus
out
quickly. And this one actually blowing out. Sorry to interrupt, but we're at 16 points here, Ronnie, and this is just something, unfortunately for the Kings, that has become accustomed for them in the past few weeks. When they get down, they seem to just stay down. There really doesn't seem to be much spark or bite back in.
And this is where, if I'm Coach Shepherd, I'd be thinking of changing a few things up and trying to just, gamble with a few things. Maybe put in a quick press. Maybe, change your defence up. Got to stop that transition here too. And, it's... another time out here as well too. So, it's just getting, this is not the semi-final we would like to see, but unfortunately, on paper, you'd probably say, well, look, the Southern Wolves do probably have a better team on paper, and it's showing.
For sure, no doubt about that. 47-28. Sorry there, Ronnie. Just had to negotiate the transferring of some of a birthday present for someone.
Oh, there you go.
Just checking a few notifications. And just quickly, the big news basketball-wise this week, Ronnie, that can be announced or that we know up at the moment is the announcement that negotiations with the GCC and the Entertainment Centre seem to have been extended through until what seems to be the New Year's Eve deadline now, and that can be at a minimum a solid progression in the negotiations with the NBL.
Well, when we spoke with Larry Kesselman back at the NBL Blitz, he did say the timeline of an announcement was going to be within a couple months. So we're talking mid-September. Those couple months is rolling into probably December and near Christmas. So we're all thinking before Christmas there'll be an announcement. The interesting thing when I posted my video with the interview with Larry Kesselman last night was Mayor Christy Johnson had made a comment on my post saying,
on your post?
On my post saying, watch this space. And then an emoji which was, what is it, that one eye...
Winky face.
Winky face. Which tells me something, JB, that I think this deal is going to go ahead.
Yeah, well, you don't just... and especially with such a public presence as Christy Johnson has on such a public sphere that is, I mean, not to toot our own horns, Ronnie, but I mean, there's a lot of people come to, the sources internally that are around this. So they go to your Brent Costellos, your Adam Smiths, your Chris Rowbottoms. But I mean, we're the lead basketball media as far as actually on the beat constantly of the game. So, you wouldn't put something out there so publicly with a lot of eyes on it if you didn't have good intentions.
Well, that's it. I mean, Brent Costello put something out last night, and I actually just backed him up. Because it was like, well, hang on, I've got a bit of a follow-up on that. So, really, interesting times at the moment. I'll be interested to see as Regis just rejects the hell out of Pawson on that one. But I'll be interested to see, where we go. And then I responded back to Mayor Johnson saying,
Bang from Boucher.
Boucher goes from deep. We have asked Mayor Johnson that we would like to be invited to the press conference if an announcement happens. So, Chargers TV will be there, JB.
Well, that'd be nice. Tell you what would have been nice, and that would be for the Kings if Caleb Pawson could knock that down. We're inside 90 seconds of the first half, and it's already being blown out to a 22-point game so far. This one's getting ugly early. Good skip pass there. Schward wanting to go to the corner. Doesn't. Oh!
Well, there you go.
Around the back, and he gets an easy lane to the glass there. Misses that. But no, plenty of news coming back. Oh, look out! That's all he wanted it.
And, of course, the other news too, JB, the NBL 1 and Basketball Queensland have hooked up a partnership too, which has been an interesting announcement today. We'll touch on that throughout the broadcast.
Yes, we'll get to that in the second half. We just hit an hour left on our card, so we'll try and preserve that as much as we can. Jacob Richards on the three, gets the defender in the air. Step back, goes for the three, wanted glass, got glass, just didn't get anything else. Goes inside, Richards now with the ball. That's a good finish.
And see, that's where Nathan O'Meara should not be running away from Jacob Richards after the shot. Box him out, get a body on him, don't allow him to get the ball so easily back like that.
That'll be Stratsma. He's absolutely in danger there. Pawson's not. He doesn't mind to fire away. And if there's guys on this team, let's be honest, the one thing the Kings have the advantage of, this is a home court. They can rip these rims down and shoot on them all they want when they're around here. They haven't managed to do that tonight. We're inside 5 seconds now. Up and under, and that's good there. Nash couldn't do much more. Kings get this one ahead. Nash is going to throw that. It's close to hitting the back wall. At half-time, it's getting ugly, people. 30 to the Kings, 54 to the Wolves, who lead by 24 themselves. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with the second half. Some negotiations there with Scotty Boucher. It looks like he's going to be in with us a little later.
Yes, we do have a third mic.
As we see him,
do have a third mic.
As we see him head out at half time. Very mixed messages from the coaches. We could hear Brad Simmons pretty clearly. That one's gone off the side of the backboard, and it's pretty well clear from Brad Simmons is that they're going to probably make a second run. They're just got to make adjustments on the fly. Can't get ahead of themselves, sort of stuff. But it was a very different message. A lot of whiteboard work down there for Bane Shepherd.
Yeah, I mean, and I suppose as a coach, that's what you got to do a little bit.
Jonty Morgan, Bane. Is it Morgan or Shepherd the coach there?
Shepherd.
Yeah, I thought it was. Him and Johnny Morgan I always get confused with. But yeah, a lot of whiteboard work from Shepherd.
Yeah, and as I was saying, that's what you got. Sometimes you got to be on that whiteboard constantly as a coach. Maybe if I was in his shoes, I'd probably approach that differently. But, again, Coach Shepherd trusting in himself and trusting his system, which you've got to do as a coach, and not go away from anything silly. So if Kingston can get a few points on the board here, get a bit of scoreboard pressure on him, never know. Pressure does some good things sometimes.
We'll see what comes of it there.
Yes, have a seat, Scott.
Looks like Scott's setting himself up here. He's liking what he sees. We've got the microphone. We're giving him the golden microphone.
Yes, you get the golden mic. It is on. It's on. It's on, mate.
John Law's in the building. How are we, sir?
I'm feeling quite good behind the golden mic. The man behind the golden microphone.
A lot of comfort there, Scotty.
Valvoline, you know what I mean.
There you go. And I don't bring out the golden mic very often, Scott. It's only for those people that do deserve it, and you're one of them, mate.
Right, but if you'd like to swap with those who do deserve it, Ronnie's right next to you. What are your thoughts so far, Scott? I mean, you've got your young fella out there in Cow. No Lock tonight, just quickly. Where's Lockie?
He's under the weather. He's had a dirty sushi, I think.
And, good grief.
Knocked him about, apparently.
I thought you were about to say under the thumb. I was going to say, can't have that cutting out of the game. But, I mean, what are you made of it so far, Scott? I mean,
I'm a little bit surprised that I would have thought Kingston would have, I thought it would have been a lot closer anyway. I thought that Kingston, I mean, they played here, about 3 weeks ago. Basically same teams, no Lockie, and Kingston, I think, got up by about 15 that night. So they've been making a lot of fundamental errors tonight, Kingston, I think. Just not finishing well.
The execution hasn't been there, Scott.
Even little things like that, like gather your rebound. But, I mean, what do you make of Cow's play? Just quickly as the timeout goes there for the Wolves, this will give us plenty of chat. What do you make of Cow's play in the league? He's slowly worked his way in after a
few weeks off.
We'll say a brief holiday for enjoying the company of others too much. Getting a little too into the action there, but I mean, how have you seen him coming into particularly into a men's competition where they're taking on a Premier League men's side in Glenorchy? He's around a lot of top players like a Jacob Richards, Isaac Collins, and I mean, even to the extent your NBL one players of a Stratsman and a Pawson. How do you think he's adjusted?
Oh, I think he's been really good. I think some of his coaches have said he's been quite composed and keeping his head. And
have you believed them?
Yeah, I think he's doing the right things. He still has the odd rare shot that might be a little bit too far away, but generally he takes the open looks, and I think he rebounds better than he ever has been. And it's a learning thing. He's only 15. There's a lot of young kids out there. There's a
Absolutely.
few kiddies on the other team, young Nashi. They're all getting good experience from playing with better quality players.
And I think that helps with their maturity as they go along too, Scott. I think you can see the improvement of attitude. You can see the improvement of better decision making. So I think the comp over the last 10 weeks has been fantastic for some of these young ones to be around some of these older guys who have kind of been there and kind of done it, but they're still going through the process. But at least they can come back and help these younger ones coming through. Yeah,
absolutely. And I've seen, you and I have both been at State League. We see a lot of these kids benching up now in some State League teams and getting some good minutes and valuable experience playing with the even older, wiser heads of their clubs.
Oh, absolutely. And we're looking forward to, obviously, round 2 this weekend of the State League up in Devonport.
Should be a big weekend. It'll be where the Final Fours are decided for both men and women. And, look, the men's one's reasonably exciting right now. I think there's 2 teams that we can lock in.
Yep.
I think Penguin and Launceston Lightning.
I'd agree with that. Yes.
They were dominant their opening weekend for sure.
I think it's an open race for 3-4, Scott.
I think,
despite looking at the ladder a couple of nights ago.
And looking at some of the upcoming games, some of the interesting ones, I think BTAS, right now the high performance squad are on 3-0, just like Penguin and Launceston. But I think I've got the feeling they might end on 3-0 as well. Oh, 3-3. I don't think they're going to get a win this weekend.
Who are their big matchups this weekend, Scott?
They've got some tough ones. They've got Penguin.
Well, they've
got Phoenix and they've got Glenorchy. So,
who do you see rounding out the 4 then? In the men's, anyway.
Considering that the way that it has to be organised, so it's a percentage and head-to-head system. So, if you've played, you'll go head-to-head. If you haven't played, you'll go percentage.
Yep.
So you can lock in your Penguin and your Launceston. You've got Phoenix on 2-1 right now, and they've got 3 very winnable games. So
yes,
there's a fair chance they'll sit on 4 wins. Glenorchy have got 3 very winnable games. Even though they've only got 1 win right now, they'll probably end up on 4 wins, all things being equal. And if they they won't head-to-head with Phoenix because they haven't played. So they'll go percentage, and I think what'll hurt Glenorchy there is the 50-odd point loss to Launceston in the first round.
Yes.
Where Phoenix have had 2 decent-sized wins and only a tight loss to Launceston.
Correct, yes.
So I think that'll help. I still think Glenorchy are a big possibility. I think if BTAS, it's up to BTAS, if they can win 1 game of their 3, there'll be a chance.
That could well shape the forward end, potentially.
Yeah, I do hear Sardines is not playing for HP, so that'll be a big loss for them.
That will be, actually, because he's been a vital part to that team. And of course, Rain Smith had to double up
in round 1
as well, too.
Sardines isn't a volume scorer, but he's the cog that keeps it
Correct.
all
Absolutely. He said hard blue collar work, and I think we mentioned a couple of other players in the broadcast as well too, Scott. Just with other teams, like I say, Cam Brown, we mentioned, and just trying to think who the other one we talked about there too.
We talked about like your Cam Browns, your hustle type, someone like an Alex Finlayson, who now relishes their senior role to be that screen setter, the rebounder, and apply the defensive pressure.
Cam Brown, he's just the ultimate junkyard dog, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Every loose ball belongs to Cam Brown.
Yeah,
and I'd like not to shoot at Cam, but that is one of the big reasons why he makes these teams that he makes, like in the Chargers, and he's playing state league, and he's constantly repped here in Penguin and in Hobart, because he's the gritty guy. As Pawson hits that, he's the gritty guy you need to do the dirty work, to allow the others to flourish, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's good at it.
No, it doesn't faze him either. Quite physical, former football background helps that. Jordan Walker back in. We talked about him a fair bit in the broadcast. Pawson, back to back. That's good. Now, in saying that, I've never seen a bench so excited when they're 16 down. We'll see how
they're on the way back, though. They're on the way back.
Could the momentum just swing here?
That's not what you need from... tell you what, they need a rebound. They're not going to get it with Richards battling under there, and he'll get the M1. Now, Scotty, just quickly.
Yes.
Have you considered buying into the new NBL featured sneakers from Kmart?
Oh, here we go.
You would have seen the post yesterday.
Look, I saw the post.
The great Andrew Gay's got the like on it too, mind you.
I saw the post and I thought, I'm going to race out there now and get the boys a pair. I went straight out as soon as I saw it. Didn't have their sizes, JB, so I would have done.
Oh, you knew very well when you walked into Kmart, 15s and 16s were not going to be readily available. I did buzz Ronnie quickly on the situation. That's going to be a third through from... I spoke too soon. Yeah. I did buzz Ronnie on the situation. I think it went up to 13s. I think that put Ronnie on the limit as well.
Yeah, I'm 13, 14.
Scott, what about yourself? You any chance of squeezing into a 13 or... What?
Youngie's just giving you the fit. You're a bit noisy.
Sorry, Matt. Can't get him for commentary. We're just yelling at him from here.
Yeah.
But... what do you reckon? You reckon Pooey's got a pretty impressive shoe collection. You reckon he's going to rush out and grab a limited edition pair of each?
Look, I can give you a definite no.
What? No shoebox or resale value? Or?
No room.
No room.
No room.
Well, that's probably a fact too.
That is true.
Hello, he's down. He's not happy with that. They've called the travel. Scott's just got nothing but a laugh on that one.
I think he looked like he walked into it, and then I think he kind of threw the head back a little bit there.
You got to play for him, Ronnie. You got to play for him.
A little bit of Neymar about that one, Ronnie.
Sometimes you do have to, milk it a bit to try to get it your way. We talked about that in the broadcast earlier, JB. That sometimes you do have to work.
Holy moly! What's he called there?
I think he's called a slip.
As I say, sometimes you do have to work the referees over a little bit we all do it. So I mean.
Do we, Ronnie?
Well,
I must say, I think the best call I ever had I think it was 2013 school tournament, and I felt a slight bit of contact over the back. I was never getting the rebound. I think I hit the deck faster than the World Trade Centers went down and got the call. I was pretty happy with that. Scotty, you ever taken advantage of the refs?
I was always a good one for the charge. I loved to, back before the day of the flop, I loved to make a bit of noise and fall down.
That's it.
When you were occupying the no charge zone back in the day.
There was no charge.
There was none back in those days, my word.
Well, we're still using a broom and a peach basket, and Scott first picked up a ball, I suppose.
Yeah, well, no, I was the ladder man.
You were the ladder man?
I used to get up and get the ball out.
Just from the women's competition, Scotty, you've seen it. Hobart really pushed through tonight, and they steadied to get the win there. They've really used their rotations with Sinnott and Thompson on the squad. They're going to be taking on Ellie Collins, Sarah Marston and co for the Southern Wolves. How do you expect that one to play out next week?
I think it'll be a tight game.
Pawson.
What is he called there?
Called that on the floor. I think it was a hold.
Right.
Oh, it's a push off the side. Substitution. That's his fourth too for Tyson Joseph.
He's racked up a few fouls tonight.
He's asking. Yeah, he was asking the question.
Looking for his fifth, maybe.
His fifth. Looking for his fifth, and I'm going to suggest a quick trip into the.
Well, he's on the bench now, so it'll go on Brad now. He's sat down.
That's true.
It's either that or Matty Young will fight for it. But I mean, you're expecting that competition to be reasonably tight there, Scott.
Yeah, I think both of those teams have had some close encounters. I'm not sure who's got the wood on who over the journey this year, but
I'd probably say Southern Wolves would have it. The lack of Shana, but in saying that, I think we were there the night that Bynan and Vanderkamp went crazy running in the 1-2 combination to destroy them. So head-to-head could be interesting. What do you think? How do you think the state league for the women's is going to shape up round 2, Scotty? A few different matchups, a few different players playing with different clubs. Not as easy as it first looks.
no, I think the sad thing is the final 4. We know who's in it.
Yeah.
I think we can say that Phoenix won't make it.
Pretty confident.
Yeah. I tend to agree with that.
The under-22s team we saw there on the drive. And a technical has gone to Isaac Collins.
What for? I wonder. Shh, don't.
I believe he's asked the question. I think he's been talking too much. Brad Simmons is asking.
The time now is not to throw it away with technical fouls and foolishness when you're up.
Absolutely. This is
23 points, you just shut your mouth and you
this is where you just keep your composure now.
Hold on a minute. We're going up the other end for the shots. Was the technical foul not on Isaac Collins? No, we've gone to the wrong end.
Okay.
It's a long way back, Graham, when you go to the wrong end.
Yes.
And it's all on film for the world to see. Paulson's going to take that one. And Isaac's very, it's going to be Wolves ball,
Wolves ball off the base.
So your top 4, Scotty, as we said, we're confident the Wolves aren't going to make it. Not Wolves, that we're confident the Hobart aren't going to make it.
Yeah, fairly confident.
Yeah.
You've got Latrobe, who looked to have played well on the weekend.
Yeah. I think Latrobe are favourite to take it out
In the
too, I
women's.
Reckon, Scott.
Latrobe would be the favourites, yeah.
Do you think the rest are playing for numbers, or do you see some competitive matchups there as well?
It depends what they roll out with. The BTAS high performance girls are always well drilled and they run the systems well. Launceston are a lot of the young Tornadoes girls, so Sarah Veal will have them working, I suspect.
Yes, definitely. She'll have them working.
I think this has turned into it's a little bit loose, maybe a little bit of a wrestle here.
This game,
the whistle's been put away.
Scott, we've been told in previous experiences not to say much, but I mean, if there's one guy that's allowed to, I'm going to suggest it's the guy who helps. Maybe you orchestrate the organisation a little bit, Scotty.
Yeah, look, I don't think I'm not. It's not bad refereeing. It's just a bit loose both ways. I think.
I think
potentially a little too much.
I think if I put my hat on here for a second, I think there's probably one or two that they probably should have called, which probably reins it in a little bit.
Yep.
And then hopefully
clock's not running.
And then so here we
So
go.
who are you expecting in the State League final, Scott, for the women? Latrobe and.
I'm trying to think who's in it. I know that's a sad thing to say. Kingston have got some good depth.
They just haven't been able to
Roberts,
to get it together, though, Scott. In the game, some of the games I saw in round 1, they just haven't seemed to find their kind of gel yet.
It's a bit like Clarence United men, isn't it? They've got a whole squad of good players, but they just can't get them together.
Jordan Walker with another 3 just quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Clarence have gone through some personnel changes as well too. I mean, different coach, some different players. And they're taking a little bit of time to get used to each other once again. So, I mean, that break from the SBL to now does make a bit of a difference.
I did see Josie Greenwood's name on the Kingston list.
Jeez, flew down the floor against the bucket.
That was good play.
That is
Very good play. This is the kind
He's
of spark
fired
you
up
can
too.
provide
Look at him, the young boy.
As he should do. This is a kid that should be raining in
Kept
more
his
minutes.
head about him there. A lot of other kids would be hearing that countdown, pull up just after the halfway line and jack up a buzzer beater.
But I don't think many people are going to try and catch him on that
What
one,
he's just
Scotty.
shown us there is you can make half the court, 3 quarters of the court in 4 seconds.
Yep, absolutely.
We're not going to have a SADA turning up here tonight, are we?
Get your layup and get your 2 points, and 2 points is much better than that long 3-point shot from halfway line that bounces off the top of the ring and hits the ceiling.
Well, there was a chance of a foul there as well. They had 3 or 4 Wolves chasing after him. So that brings us to 17 points now, 54-71 heading into the last quarter. It's going to be interesting to see how we go there. And rumour has it, Scotty, you've requiring some commentators for the final weekend in Launceston.
Yes, can you update us on what's going on here, boss?
Oh, hang on a sec. What have I done now? Oh, thought I'd said something. Thanks to Mark Nash there for the reviews. Anyway, Scott, back to business at hand.
I did hear the team from BTAS TV will be in attendance.
Yes, can confirm that right now. So you
After
just told me.
conversations today, absolutely. We'll be staying 2 nights, apparently.
We'll be having and I don't know how you blokes handle this type of setup, a live stream.
All we need, I reckon, because we've got all the bits and pieces. We would just need to say a MacBook, I reckon, and then just
You've come to the right place.
And then. Then we just need a software. Then we need to find just a program where we can just live stream from.
Right.
And I reckon we're in business.
Very much in business. So
because we do have the gear that hooks up from the camera to the intensity shuttle thing.
Like this mixing desk here, this whatever it be.
Shut.
Shout out to myself there for purchasing that off my own back. The man who, as we start the fourth quarter.
Shout out to myself.
Yeah.
Ronald Riggs Productions.
My word.
Oh, jeez, thanks. Jeez, I'd like to thank myself for this great opportunity.
The man that putting his own money into, obviously, the broadcasting stuff here.
Most people are usually thanking God or their parents, and Ronald's just gone ahead and just shanked himself on that one. Well done. Nah, Scotty, if you're wanting our attendance, then that's key. I'm assuming you'd like coverage of the North-South Under-22s final, and you're also wanting coverage of, obviously, the semi-finals of the Estate League, or just the grand finals?
I think if you're going to be there, you might as well cover.
We might as well cover the whole
event.
lot.
Okay, well, if we're going to do that, we'll renegotiate the contract of what I spoke about. A Motel 6 and frozen meals in the fridge is probably a bit of a raise now.
I think we're just happy to be put up at the Best Western, Scotty. Thank you, of course, to our valuable BTAS supporters.
Yes, always good times at the Best Western.
My word.
I think McDonald's is a sponsor too, aren't they? Thanks to McDonald's as well for the...
Pity this isn't live. The burgers have become. I think Domino's are a sponsor too, aren't they?
Could well be.
Pep's Pizza down on Kingston Beach.
So we have to give a shout out constantly to the Kingra Sports Centre this year.
Yeah, with the canteen.
With many a Mars, but which reminds me, are we going to get this chocolate milk challenge going at some point, Scotty?
That's a good play there. Good play from Boucher and Richards.
Yes.
Little underneath pass, and the scoring's away. Back to 20.
Yes.
Thanks. Oh, hello.
Hang on.
No, not more issue.
Shepherd will take advantage of that.
Oh, he gets...
Yeah, good recognition there by Shepherd. Play to the whistle. Play to the whistle.
Words of advice from one of the great whistlers himself.
Yes.
He's had to help a couple times this season already in 22, Scott.
He threw out 2 technicals last week, Ronnie. Let's just...
Did he really?
He did. We had first technical was on Eliza Crispin for a blood rule and kept violating when he come back into the game, I believe, Ron.
Oh, I haven't heard that one. So that is a technical foul?
It was more the substitution.
It's more the substitution because she has to wait one play phase to come in. And then, of course, obviously, the way she was strapped up, I wasn't accepting it.
She rubbed it on the jersey.
Yeah, rubbed it on the jersey as well too. So it's a straight automatic technical trying to come back onto the floor.
It's an interesting thing. The technical foul has a bad name, but when you actually hear the word itself, it's a technical foul because it could be a technical issue.
It's a technical, yeah.
Yeah, and Article 36 in the FIBA rulebook, when you look at it and look at all the different dot points, it clearly tells you where that technical foul is coming from.
Here's where I find this interesting. So she got the technical foul.
Yes.
Let's say then she gets another technical foul for encroaching the line at the end of the court, on a throw-in.
See you later.
Does she then get ejected for really 2 technical...
Well, on a
issues?
technicality,
Technicality,
she would, Scott.
She would because 2 T's and you're out.
Yes, but I don't like... I know that's the rule.
But it then creates a bad perception in a write-up or a rap when you see
Absolutely.
They get ejected when it wasn't for abuse, it wasn't for physical, it was... Okay, the first one, fair enough, but really just encroaching the line gets you thrown out of a game.
It's more around the wording and the interpretation of it. It's very similar to how the unsportsmanlike foul is called now. We don't like it, but that's the way it's written up and interpreted within the FIBA rules.
And prior to this coming season, we've removed the rule now, but 2 technicals in SBL would get you an automatic week suspension. So should you be getting a week suspension for a blood rule and encroaching on the line? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah.
And I mean, too, you say that, Scott, but vice versa. Sam Ewell was thrown out during a senior game this year and having spilt blood on the court. Now, many debated whether there was some debating whether that was. A lot of them were debating whether he did that deliberately as a delay of game. I'm not too sure, but. Again, it's that different sort of blood violation. You had Crespin last week who simply, a bad tape job and didn't pay attention to the sub. But then if you got someone that's deliberately, spilling that sort of stuff on the floor, then it's probably worth it.
Yeah, I mean, if the ref thinks that's a deliberate act, I mean, that's certainly a technical foul, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it would be.
And the second technical foul given was to Ellie Collins.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So Ronnie's had a pretty big week on a whistle, and I actually don't think, Ronnie, there was a week you ref where you didn't tee. You teed up.
I was going to say, every game I pretty much come back to this season, I've had one technical in a game.
You teed up
Nick Barker
for swinging on the rim.
Yeah, that was a controversial one. Wasn't it?
That was the opening call of the game, Scott.
And then when I reviewed it back on tape, I think I was a little bit quick to judge because.
So, could we suggest potentially a referee admitting his wrongdoing, Ronald?
I'm always happy to admit when I'm wrong, JB, and I think on that occasion I was wrong because when we looked at it, it was probably just a tad too quick on the whistle on that one.
Good finish there by Paulson.
But of course. When you feel live, it just felt like an eternity.
Oh, yeah. That's exactly right. Paulson's all over him at the moment.
He is.
Yeah, he's making one last run. Strathmore getting the dribble there. I mean, he's going to bring the energy.
I was going to say, down 18 at the moment. They need to get a few buckets here going.
Oh, lovely, Barn.
Elroy Shepherd there with a bit of a party trick.
But defence would have been a handy trick there on that one. If they played some.
Trick, are you saying? So that's put a lot of pressure there on Boucher. And he's been forced out of bounds, and he's hit the deck.
I was going to say, it is Halloween tomorrow, Jobo.
It is Halloween tomorrow. Time out there by Simmons. So he's going to go to the Pine and check that out. We've got 34 minutes remaining on our card. Plenty of time here as Callum Boucher continues to speak. It looks like Isaac Collins having a bit of a natter too.
Isaac Collins probably should be careful with his natters at this point of the game.
Wouldn't have suggested it was the smartest thing to do on the floor, Scott.
Wouldn't want that second tech to be, I believe, Glenorchy. Isaac's already had a spell from 2 techs in a game this year. So
yes, I do believe that was on this floor as well.
Yes.
That
was on that end of the... Well, he's had 3 of his 4 on that. 3 of the potential 4. Yes, no, I do remember that incident. That was interesting to say the least, but... 16 points. Do we try and get Walker back in for a bit more of a spark here?
I think you do.
I would.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't take him out while he was sparking.
No.
We've talked about this multiple times.
He's
on
that,
and off camera.
He's that energy guy that you really need out there right now, and I think these next couple of minutes are crucial. If the Kings are going to make a game of this, they need to really hit their strides now. Otherwise, I think you can pretty much say goodbye to your season there.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Southern Wolves can get it back to 20, I reckon if they make it back to 20 in front, that's probably the end.
Yeah, that probably is.
They need to run at it and keep running at it. As soon as it starts going the other way again, I think you lose it, don't you? In the last 5 minutes, if you're looking at 20 points, you're sort of... I mean, this isn't the NBA. There's not going to be a great margin made up in 30 seconds.
Not like the New York Knicks coming back against Chicago.
Yeah. But on top of that, Scott, I also don't want a committeeism, and that's going to be a foul on the body there from Sward. And that's another man who's not afraid to just let those know around him what he feels of the situation. But this isn't going to be a situation either, Scott, where we get stuck with a minute to go. We're still here 15 minutes later thanks to timeouts and reviews and
commercials.
Because hasn't the review in the NBA changed things, boys?
Well, look, I can honestly say I haven't watched a game this year yet.
Trust me, you're not missing a thing with these reviews.
I was going to say, we're not missing much.
30 seconds, teams get 10 minutes into a game, they have a call. Ooh, I think he was approving of the call there, Cal.
Yeah, he agreed, did he?
Yeah, he did. I believe the term was yay. Yay was a word that was used. But, I mean, what do we got here?
Just the bench seeking clarification on where the foul was on.
Foul was on there. Called that on Pawson.
Was it on Pawson? I would have thought.
Doesn't matter. It's been called on Pawson. Boys, it's on the bench.
Can we go back to the replay?
Scott, based on that, Boyd Hever should have about 5 less points than he. The amount of games this year where people were given points in local level that would put on the sheet somewhere, not counted for. Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
What was
Did you
that?
see that?
What was that?
He spilled it out, he chased it up and threw it over his shoulder and went in.
What was that?
Yeah, that is another party trick galore.
A party trick, Ronnie. I'm going to suggest that was just drunk play. I don't know about the party.
That's a game killer when you're coming back and someone
It
throws
is.
one of those.
that
over
is,
the shoulder.
that is, and a coach killer at that too. If your defense is just a oh,
Oh, showtime here at the Kingborough Sports Centre.
you were saying, Scott?
Is that one to turn them on now? Is that the one that?
I don't know. A bit of Bruce McAvaney. I get excited when I see things like that. So we're back to 15 points here, 5:45. And I think the Wolves probably just want to play possession basketball, spread the floor and convert within the next 5 seconds of each clock. That's a long way out. No good. Rebound there. Pawson wanted the outlet, didn't get it. He's going to want to go inside. No look there. Tip pass. Need to finish that. And does. And the Kings just trying to get a bit of rejuvenation to them. We're back in 13. They've got their own little kick on here with Walker on the bench. That one's missed. They need a rebound. Don't get it. Sport. Back out to Joseph. 1-2 between the gentlemen. Down underneath. Isaac Collins not afraid to shoot. That one's on the baseline. Cow Boucher up and over the top. And Scott, considering you're no taller than about 6 foot, you've got to be happy that the boys have shot up to that 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" range and can jump out of the gym to hit shots like that.
Yeah, look, they're very athletic, the pair of them. I don't know where they get it from, but I'll take it.
Typical
that
dad
was
response there.
Schwarty, gone to the world too many times. Thought he travelled there on that one. Goes inside. Collins walking across.
The excitement
Needs to get his
machine's
hands
on.
out of it.
There he goes. It's my favourite player, the excitement machine.
Nathan
26,
O'Meara.
Nathan O'Meara, the
I
excitement.
love his enthusiasm.
Yes, no, he brings a bit of energy to the court, he does, Scott.
But Scott,
I'm not sure I'm so happy about his defence, but
Yeah, true.
Scott, I'm not going to lie. I've heard rumours that our friend Hugo Suarez is your favourite player around the traps here in Hobart.
I haven't seen him for the Kings for a while, Suarez.
No.
And no, he's not a soccer player or a Brazilian Formula One driver. He is legitimately a local Hobart player, Hugo Suarez.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it?
Nice little step through there.
step.
Yeah.
Poor old Scott actually thought old Hugo Suarez was a made-up sweet on him.
I thought he was a Spanish
Dump
politician.
pass. There we go. And there's your guy on
my
cue.
boy. There's my boy.
There's your boy.
You just need some defence out of him now, Scotty. We'll see how this goes.
Back to 11,
That
JBs.
one's going to be a foul on Pawson now. Is 11 points in 3:48 too much to make up, Scott?
No, I don't think so. Considering they've just made up,
Yeah, just basically scored 10 in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And thinking at the same time, Southern Wolves have also scored 4 in this period, so it's been a bit of a scoring fest. But while they're not getting rebounds,
Yeah, that's
inside.
inexcusable.
Possessions win your games, and you don't have the basketball, you can't score, and if you can't score, you can't win.
I mean, that ball hit the floor then off the ring, didn't it? Everyone watched it.
Yep, just stand there, which is not a good thing.
Pawson gets inside, kicks out, Stratsma 3 off the rim, and O'Meara with that great rebounding technique just allows it to bounce off his chest.
I don't know if I'd have gone for 3 then with Elijah inside. I think 2 points is as good as 3 at this stage when you're trying to close the gap.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and still plenty of time remaining too, Scott. So just a quick basket would have been nice for them.
Well, that one's gone back iron as the Kings get the rebound. It's 13 points still. We're inside 3 minutes. That bounce pass there. Pawson, corner, 3. No good, nothing but rim. But they get the offensive rebound. Pass over. Get out of here, says Richards. It's Collins with the ball. Probably a bit loud, the bench peering up here. They want to know what the hell's going on.
Oh, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're enjoying it. Nothing wrong with enjoying your basketball.
Yes, well, speaking of enjoyment, I'm going to go and watch 3 games. I'm going to video up at the end of this. Shout out to YouTube for the copyright violation last night.
Got caught out, did you, JB, before?
Apparently it's illegal to just use footage from Fox and ESPN, put it in your own little highlight reel and put it on a monetised channel. Apparently that's not good.
Apparently.
Glad it was on his own channel, Scott, and not any other that he's affiliated with.
Keep it off yours, Ronnie. You don't want any part
Correct,
of that.
absolutely.
Does Ronnie have a YouTube channel?
Yes, Ronnie does have a YouTube
There
channel.
you go. That's where I got those missed free throws for the charity game. That's
Yes.
right. The only 3 in the video, and I found them. Let's see you do it. 2:41, 13 remaining, 84-71, high scoring nonetheless. And
I think we're getting to the point now where 13 points in 2:41. We said 11 in 3.
11 with 3 and a bit.
3:28 maybe.
About a minute ago.
Yeah.
But that margin's now extended out.
Yeah. So if it's going the other way,
Probably
it's making
negative.
it tougher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But look, 4 3-pointers, whack, whack, whack. And
Oh, you never know. I mean, we've seen stranger things happen in the game, Scott. So, I mean, it is finals time, but it doesn't have that feel of a semi-final.
Let's be honest, it's been deflating.
it's very hard to get atmosphere at this stadium, and I think the Huskies figured that out the hard way.
Yes.
Financially or just on the game itself?
I just think that it's a large venue, and if you're not going to fill it up, you're not going to, because of the size of the height of the roof, the width of the walls. Like if you put this many people in Warrane right now, even though there's not a lot of people, there'd still be more atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're jammed into that sort of little box.
And of course, it'll be interesting to see where the Chargers do end up playing, whether we come back here, Scott, or we go back out to Creek Road.
Creek Road or Jaundice Stadium? Scott, which one do you want?
I think Creek Road is the odds-on at the moment, from my understanding.
Do you reckon Vigilante News have got that one covered?
Yeah, I think Vigilante News are all over that. Has Vigilante News leaked the press conference tomorrow on the coaches being named?
We're not talking about that yet, Scott.
No.
Oh, I'm just saying, is there a leak at all? Does anyone know?
No.
Well, this isn't live, Ronnie, so it won't matter if we say right now.
Of course.
No, it's true, but we have
Yes,
we've actually hidden the identification of the coaches just in case I accidentally do some work for once and get it sorted. Kings are going to have to push up, and I'm shocked at this. The Kings with no push on their defence inside 2 minutes now, 11 points. Jacob Richards on the other side again. The winner going through to play Glenorchy, and I don't think it's going to matter. I think Glenorchy are probably going to PI double.
Glenorchy have been the number one team in the
They're going to
competition.
PI double five it in.
They deserve to get all the way through if they do.
Schward gets a defender in the air, double fake.
They've really done a good job of running the whole 24 seconds off the clock there.
That's what they needed to do. We've got less than 100 remaining. The Kings need to get down the floor. They need to get a score. Step back, not there. He's looking for Pawson. He was right next to him, couldn't get it.
The last thing Kings need to do here is run the full 24 off the clock
Correct.
at their end.
That's what they're avoiding doing. That one's probably going to run out. Oh, Tyson Joseph. Millimetres away from that one.
So 11 now with a minute. I'd say it's done. I can put the gold lame on and start running the lap.
So, Scotty, are we going to be back here next week? Oh, that's going to be a foul. We're going to be back in this spot next week, or are we going?
I'll get the full court again next week. I think the full court's a better experience.
Oh, absolutely. And it helps with our broadcast positioning as well too, Scott.
It's a good spot here.
Yeah, it's nice to be back on our old stomping ground up here.
And overall, Scott, just quickly, I mean, we'll talk about it a bit more next week, but how have you found this? Okay, we are just going free throws here, I was going to say.
Yes.
Just quickly, Scott, how have you found the overall experience of this under-22s comp to be? First year, sort of obviously teething issues with both leagues and, different teams and players, but overall, how have BTAS found its success?
Oh, look, it's the inaugural year. As you said, there's been some teething problems. We haven't always had the tight games that you get in the, if we look at the previous under-23 competition where the teams were manufactured to be tight, you probably got a bit closer on the scoreboard, but not necessarily
in the game style
as cultured, and not cultured, but coached and running through stuff that's good for the kids. We're not playing jungle ball here. We're actually, hopefully the coaches are trying to work their kids into senior basketball players.
Just have a look down there on the bench quickly, Scott. What's the go with Cow? Any idea? Has he hurt himself? Has he?
He hurt his knee badly last week in the game, and he's probably struggling a bit with his knee.
A bit sore.
Yeah, he's played most of the game. I didn't really recommend it, but anyway.
Pawson for three. That's good. And this is typical of the Kings. They've been pushing late. They just need to get a trap or a steal here. That one's going to be a foul.
I think the under-22 concept has been that successful with, popular with clubs that they will move this forward into, if we do happen, the reserves competition in SBL next year will be under-22 based, with a couple of, I think it might be 3 they decided, over 22 players in your team, but the rest of your squad will be under-22.
So the actual Premier League will be based around youth.
The reserves, yeah.
The reserves competition.
Yeah, reserves competition.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah.
Which is flushing out. Oh no, flushing out's not the right thing, but I don't think
it's lifting the level of competitiveness and the level of skill and play in the league.
It's introducing kids to the style that to play senior basketball, where right now, and they can still play, but guys, like Warren Stanwick's at 55,
Yeah.
Craig Johnson, into his 50s, still play all right, but should they be holding out? Even though maybe the kids aren't good enough yet, they're never going to be if they can't get the experience.
Well, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
And I suppose, too, that also forces players to make a decision, Scott. Do they stick? As Jacob Richards ices that one, that will do us. We're inside our last 24. I suppose, too, just to finish, Scott, that also allows... Jordan Walker comes on all but late here in the last. Force them onto that one. That'll all but end it. Surely they're not going to foul here. They're going to get this out. No, they're going to keep running through with it. No, dribble it out. But, I mean, that's also going to allow a lot of players to make the decision now. Do they step up or step out of the game? Not necessarily in a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of other competitions for people that want to play basketball for fun. If you want to play for a good time, there's plenty of social competitions.
Oh, my word.
Your AYCs, your Moona competitions.
Yep.
I mean, some of those competitions at the top level are quite serious as well, so you can still get a good quality game of basketball without, just having a complete game of jungle ball.
Final score here, we'll wrap that up there, 88-76, 12-point game. It was never really tight from quarter time onwards. The Wolves will move ahead to next week. How many of them actually turn up next week will be another question. On behalf of Ronnie Riggs, on behalf of Scotty Boucher, we'll be back with Under-22 South Finals next week, 6 o'clock for the women's, 7:30 for the men's, here at the Kingborough Sports Centre. I've been Justin Bryan, and we'll be back next week.